Hello there, it's Mr. Doyle, and I'm here in the classroom, all alone, but here I am. And I was thinking, you know, here is something that can be a challenge for students and has to do with fractions and decimals and percents. Today I'd like to focus on percents and decimals for just a few moments. And if you were in my class this year, we're going to get into some fifth grade type things. And if you were not and you just happen to be watching this, well, if you need some help, regardless of how old you are, regardless what grade you might be in, this can help you. This might even help an adult person somewhere who needs to figure something out, where there's a percent of a number, a percent off, or you can use the same tool of changing the percent to a decimal for multiplying purposes. But for today, we're just going to talk about changing the percent to a fraction, just that one thing. Changing a percent, I should say decimal, changing the percent to a decimal. So you take a look. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to change the view so that you can look at the paper I'm looking at and follow along with me, all right? Now, can you see my paper all right? I've written at the top, changing percents to decimals. Now, the first few that you see are actually a bit simpler than the ones that follow. But let's take that first one, 48%. You've got to figure out what 48% of something is. The first step is to change your percent to a decimal, changing percents to decimals. You see where the percent sign is? Put your pencil right there, and whenever you change to a decimal, move it 2 places to the left this way. Okay, move it 2 places to the left. All right, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to go 1, 2. Let me rewrite it. 0.48. I just moved it 2 places. 0.48 is my decimal for that one. Let's go to the next one. 529%. Again, I'm going to move it 2 places this way, right? 1, 2. Let me rewrite it. 5 decimal point 29 or 5.29 as a decimal. Moving on to the next one, 78%. What are we going to do for that one? That's right. I'm going to start here. I'm going to move it 1, 2 places. See, there it is. 0.78, and I'll rewrite it because you don't want the percent sign there anymore. The percent sign goes away. It's just, I'm changing it. I'm not writing it as a percent anymore. I just want a decimal. So make sure the percent goes away when you change it. Now let's look at these bottom ones here. See? Notice that they have a fraction in the percent. This is where it takes more than one step to arrive at the answer. And this is what can trip up folks on these ones. So look very carefully on this. You should memorize what 3/4 as a decimal is. And if you have memorized it, you know that 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75. So this percent is literally 6.75%, but I'm not done. Now let's say you didn't know what was 3/4 was 0.75. You could simply figure it out by dividing the denominator into the numerator. So you divide the denominator into the numerator, add a decimal point, put it up above like that, add zeros, and you could figure it out. 7 times 4 is 28. Bring down my 0. And 4 will go into 20 5 times. And look, I figured out it's 0.75. But 3/4 is one of the common ones that you are to memorize. But when you get to ones you don't know, you can do that. But that's still a percent. It's still 6.75%. I still have to move it over 2 places. 1, 2. And my answer is 0.0675. So just keep in mind that when you have a fraction in your percent, don't just put 6.75 and say, okay, I'm done. I still have to move it over 2 places. So it takes 2 steps here. Change the fraction to a decimal, then move it over an additional 2 places. Understand? Let's do another one. 9.5% as a decimal. I simply write my 9. Write what the decimal is. It's 0.5. You don't have it memorized, work it out by dividing the denominator into the numerator. 9.5%. I still need to move it though. I still haven't moved anything over yet, have I? I've just rewritten it as a decimal point because that's a fraction there. Now I move it over. 1, 2. I'm going to have to add a 0 because there's only one place, so add a 0. And I'm going to rewrite it, 0.095 is 9.5% written as a decimal point. Let's go to the next one. 7/8. What is the decimal equivalent? 0.875. Did you know that? If not, because that is one that many might not have memorized. Notice which one goes outside the division box, called the divisor, and which one is inside, called the dividend. The denominator goes outside, and the numerator goes inside. And then, of course, you would figure it out. Is it 8? Is 8 times 8? 64. See, and that is how you would do it. 6 more would make 70. We're going to have to bring a number down because we need to go 2 places here. And we're actually going to go 3 places, aren't we? What's 8 times 7? 56. We are correct. Compare. Make that better. We're going to add another 0. Keep adding zeros in these to do it because we ran out of numbers, so just add zeros. Can 8 go into 45 times? And it works out. It is correct, isn't it? But this is one we need to memorize. So I changed my 7/8 to 0.875. But guess what? I still have to move it over 2 places. 1, 2. Now there are no numbers there, so we have to add 2 zeros. So 0.00875 is my decimal equivalent for 7/8%. Again, just rewrite what 7/8 is, 0.875, but then I have to move it to the left, then put my decimal point, which means I'll have to add 2 zeros on that one. I hope this was a help to someone today as we prepare and move on in our learning in arithmetic. If you did find this helpful, go ahead and click like there and subscribe to this, and you will get more educational videos to help you or to help someone you care about learn it a bit better. You take care, and remember, learn something new every day.